I want to do some compare and contrast between Resident Evil, the movies and the games. Mila Jovovich's character in the movie is Alice. The security team breaks into the house and takes Alice underground to the hive to investigate, what the hell's going on. And then Liquor comes out. They fight him on the train. And then we find out that Matt starts turning into Nemesis because plot. Birkin injects Alice with the T-virus. And so that's the first movie. In the first game, the STARS team gets dispatched to the mansion. So Chris and Jill discover that Wesker, who was the head of their STARS unit, was actually working for Umbrella, and ended up having to fight the Tyrant. So they got the fuck out of there, and that was pretty much the end of the game. In the second movie, Resident Evil Apocalypse, that was the closest video game adaptation that they did. Alice is the main character again. She finds Jill and all the other survivors and pretty much leads them throughout the city, and the whole time Nemesis is pursuing her, so that's pretty game accurate, and it all leads down to a fist fight. Okay, so then they escape, except their helicopter crashes on the outskirts of the city, and then he says, "Oh, Project Alice activated." The end. So yeah, that was the movie. So I guess the movie took elements of the game. So Resident Evil 2 and 3, the games, are pretty much within like the same time frame of each other, so I'm just going to speak of them collectively. In 2, you had Leon S. Kennedy, who was a rookie cop, new to Raccoon City. First day on the job, rolls into a bunch of bullshit, whatever. And his partner in that game is Claire Redfield, who's the brother of Chris, which was on the Alpha team from the first game. So, the two of them together are my favorite video game duo. They end up going to the police station to look for Chris, not knowing that he got the fuck out of there and went to Europe. And so they're just stuck in all this, in this hell in this city, They split off and they have their separate scenarios that intertwine periodically. Difference from the first and the second game is, the first game you're doing the exact same shit as the other character. In the second one you have different scenarios, so they kind of make sense that they would, coincide, but whatever. In this game, the SWAT team, which was called SWAT team, I don't remember what the fuck it was called, had this guy named Hunk on it who was a leader, and Wesker had them go underground to the Hive, right? Which in the game it's not called the Hive, it's called the...
Welcome to Nest.
It's called something else. We're going to call it the Hive though, because I don't fucking remember. So, yeah, I know, I'm such a fan. So, they go down to the Hive and steal the G-Virus from Birkin. Now, the difference between the G-Virus and the T-Virus is T-Virus reanimates you, turns you into a zombie if you're dead, and if not, it just mutates you really badly. The G-Virus mutates you like tenfold and makes you like a weird fucking ball of flesh covered in eyeball tumors. So, they go to steal the shit from Birkin, one vial rolls out, he stabs himself with it, and I don't know why, they shoot him to death, so he's like bleeding out, and the last thing you think to do is stab himself with this shit that's going to mutate him horribly. It's not going to save your life, bro, it's just going to make things worse, but I guess he didn't really give a shit. I don't know. Plot. So yeah, so then he chases them throughout the sewer, because they're trying to escape back up to the city to get the fuck out of there, and he kills them all but one. Hunk escapes. They never mention his ass again, which would have been cool if they put him in his own game. No, I'm not counting Operation Raccoon City because that was like a reimagining or like an addition to the first, or to the second game, So, Birkin's now loose in the city on top of all this fuckery. So what happened was, when the mansion blew up in the first game, all the shit got released into the woods, and that's the surrounding area of Raccoon City, right? It's the Arklay Mountains. It's like right next to the city. So all the zombies and all the hunters and lickers and blah, 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 all got released. And so the T-Virus got released into the city. And how that happened was, when the Birkin fuckery was going on, a bunch of vials got smashed and rats got into it and ate it and got infected, and then they carried it and bit people in the city, and then boom, hey, that's how it happened. on top of all the fuckery monsters going on, then they drop Mr. X in there. Mr. X, if you played the remake of Resident Evil 2, you'll know that, yeah, he's badass. Like, you can't fucking get away from him. He even has like a cute little hat, so that's cool. But they drop him in there, and they programmed him with a mission to, in the remake, in the Resident Evil 2 remake, it's to kill pretty much Leon and Claire. But in the original one, it was to obtain a sample of the G virus, which Birkin's daughter had around her neck. Now, Birkin's daughter, Sherry, in Claire's scenario in the game, you find her hidden, you know, just like hiding around the police station and stuff. So that's who you befriend in the second game. Now, Leon befriends a woman named Ada. Don't even fucking get me started on Ada. That woman is a bitch. I don't care how hot and Asian she is. She's a bitch. Same thing in this game. There's an underground lab. When it isn't there, you know, they both go down there, fight Birkin through his various mutations. He mutates like 5 different times into like more grotesque looking shit every time. He goes from a human being to like a wad of meat with like bones sticking out of it. And a lot of eyeballs. I don't know. Fuck, fine. I don't know what's going on there. And then it's the same thing. The lab's gonna blow up. It's very repetitive. They take a train out of there. Whatever. Ooh, that sounds familiar. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Then that's the end of the game. Okay, so Resident Evil 3 happens like 2 or 3 days before 2, right? It's September 26th, and the second game is September 28th of 1998. So, just to give you like a time span of this. So, Jill stayed behind in the city, whereas all the other STARS team that survived the mansion go to Europe to help stop the headquarters over there, which I don't think they ever did. Jill stays behind, you know, and then Umbrella unleashes this new tyrant named the Nemesis to gun after all the remaining STARS members because they know too much and they're trying to like leak all the shit to the press, and Umbrella's like, nah, fuck that, bro. So, yeah, so Nemesis, they gave his ass a rocket launcher, and in the new game, a chain gun, and they send his ass on his merry way to kill the fuck out of everybody. So when you first encounter Nemesis in the game, he's kicking Brad's ass, who was the helicopter pilot from the first game. He pretty much just like makes him deep throat like a tentacle, and he dies, and it's a whole thing. So then you just fight Nemesis periodically throughout the game. But the third game's awesome because it gives you options what you want to do. It's like opinion based, like do you want to run or do you want to fight, you know, like that kind of shit, which I always fought, because if you knock them down then you always get like spare parts for a handgun, just, you know, FYI. So you fight Nemesis in all the same locations that you had in the second game, plus more. So it's the police station plus newer areas of the city, and you end up in a waste processing plant where you dump a bunch of acid on him and he mutates further into like this weird tentacle monster. And you have to fight him in like some sketchy ass tiny room with this giant cannon in it. And the whole point is you have to like plug these batteries into the wall simultaneously while like dodging him, and then you shoot him with this rail cannon, which is like a giant laser gun, and it pretty much like fries him. I think that's probably cooler than him getting taken out by a helicopter blade, right? Right, Paul? Right, Paul? Alright guys, so that was my rant about the games versus the movies, Resident Evil. I'm not going to go further into the movies. Extinction, Afterlife, Retribution, Final Chapter. I'm not going to do that because I'll just be bitching for hours, and who has time for that? I'm sure, you know, I'm surprised you even lasted this long in the video. Are you still watching it? Hello? You still there? And I'm only going to do the first 3 video games because all the other ones are cool. I don't want to disrespect any fans or anything, and I love it too. It's just the first 3 were the best ones in my opinion. So, there you go. There's the comparison. And, arrivederci!